Hi, my name is Brooke Lippman.
And I'm Dr. Deb Lippman.
And this is Wine Together,
a podcast where we drink some wine and have a chat.
So sit back, relax, and get that corkscrew ready.
So, we're back, new year, 2026.
Yep.
And we're going to change things up a little bit. We've kind of spent 2 years gallivanting around, or talking about our gallivanting around Switzerland and, the different wines that we've tried. But now we want to be more specific about the wine.
Yeah.
And
oh, yeah, and the food, like the food pairings because every wine that you get always has kind of like a food pairing.
Yeah. And so, but we're not giving it from a professional perspective, and we want you to know that. This is our personal perspective of what we feel like we taste and smell in the wine. We're going to use our senses.
We've also done research into the wines and into the food and...
Exactly. It's not like but again, we're not, we don't have the experience and the credentials to say this is, what the professionals say. We're saying this is our personal view of what we would eat with it and what we smell and what we taste. And keep in mind, we're, two Southern girls from the United States. Brooke don't want to admit she's Southern, but she's Southern.
I admit that all the time.
Okay.
I own 3 cowgirl hats and 2 pairs of cowgirl boots.
Oh my. Okay. Well, that's more than me.
Yeah.
So more Southern than me. But anyway, we just want to say that we're just here to have some fun. And our first wine this year of 2026 is one of Brooke's favorites.
This one is really good. Well, it's not. Okay. Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But it's a Rioja.
My favorite grape. My favorite region. Yeah.
Exactly. Her favorite varietal, I would say. And definitely one of her favorite countries to drink wine from. So she has lots of reasons to want to go visit this country, Spain, not just for Rioja wine.
Yeah.
So.
I did want to add a quick note. We are experimenting with some new audio equipment. So hopefully it'll sound good. I don't know what it's going to sound like after I edit it. But hopefully it won't be terrible.
Yes, and hopefully we get more accustomed to it. And, we wear the right clothes to be able to put this device onto.
I'm feeling pretty confident it's going to be better than our old microphones.
Okay. I hope so. I mean, I didn't mind the old microphones.
They get too echoey when there's too many people.
Okay. And so, so because we were, especially when several people in here, we would have, we'd have to share microphones. And so I can see how that would cause an echo between the people. Yeah. So I get that. And so, we're experimenting. We're trying to do something new, and we just want to see how it goes. So, first of all, this is a dark red wine from a beautiful. We did orange cheers. Yeah. From beautiful, but we didn't say Sante.
Sante, okay.
That's the Spanish, right?
Salut.
Salut.
Sante is French. Salut.
Salut. So with our Spanish wine, okay, and so it's a beautiful wine in that, especially if you like red wines. I get it. A lot of people don't like red wines, and a lot of people who are used to wines from, well, this is kind of from a warmer climate, but I guess it can. So anyway, they're used to wines that are a little sweeter, and this one is not sweet, but it is not. I mean, it's not. It doesn't leave your palate dry like some red wines do. So I like this one because, I like the smell of the blackberries. And for this particular one, I definitely smell the dark berries, and I can smell the oak.
Yeah, I was going to say, I smell the barrel that it was.
Yeah, and so that's another thing, because we have not experimented with decanting until now. So what we've done with this particular wine, it is I'm going to say it the way I think it's said. I haven't heard. I call it Cune. Is Cune. Does that E have an accent on it? I don't think it does. So either Cune or Cune, um, they bottle these wines, and it's not a vineyard. I do know that they. Oh, anyway, I can tell you more about that later. But they take their wines, and this particular one, you can definitely is a perfect one for decanting because you can smell the oak from the barrel after decanting. And that's what I was getting at. Sorry, completely lost my train of thought, and I apologize. Um, we had not decanted before, and so this is our third bottle of this wine in 3 days. So we drank the first bottle, just wanted to try it, and then we wanted to see what foods we would pair with it. And I can't. I'm gonna give that over to Brooke in just a second, because Brooke decided what foods we would pair with it. So the second bottle, we thought, okay, well, it's telling us we should decant this wine, and we would get more aromas from it. So we decanted the second bottle of wine, and we had Brooke's dad, my husband, try it with us, and we decided that we would use the decanted bottle with the food pairings. And I'm going to turn that over to Brooke. And then so today, as we're here sipping and talking, we do have a decanted bottle of wine. Anyway, tell us the food.
Yeah, so because of a little bit of time constraints, we decided just to do something small. So there's quite a few. When I looked into where's my phone? Jesus. It's in this pocket. Sorry, we're in metal chairs.
Yeah.
When I was looking up like the food pairings and stuff, there were like a couple things, and it seemed mostly like meal kind of. So this is obviously a meal kind of wine, like a sit down for probably lunch or dinner. Well, probably either. Yeah, most likely either of those. I don't think people are drinking this for breakfast. But
they don't know me.
But when I looked into the food pairings, the thing on one website, this very specific wine, it states, the website says that it's perfectly paired with grilled lamb or a juicy beef steak. And then I looked, again, it's on this same website, but a different part of it. It kind of adds more to it. So it said grilled lamb and beef tenderloin steak again. And then it also said a spicy ratatouille and an aged cheese platter, which I found the ratatouille one very interesting because that's not Spanish. And I was going to make like a Spanish version of ratatouille, and then we decided not to because we didn't have the time. And so what I ended up doing was making these little tapas, which is like appetizers in Spain and Mexico and Spanish-speaking countries. I feel like most people know what tapas are, probably. So one thing I looked up was like I went from this idea of like the aged cheese. So I decided to go look up Spanish, like very specifically tapas from Spain that they might pair for like a snack or appetizer. And one thing I found was this was a cracker with cheese and tomatoes and olive oil, and it was really good. That's what we did yesterday. We got some Manchego cheese. Manchego is an aged cheese from Spain. It's usually aged about 6 months. And the one that we got was aged 6 months. It was really good. I actually really enjoyed that.
Yep.
And then, so I cut it up. I put it on the crackers. I put the tomatoes on top, and then I drizzled olive oil. And I think it paired really well with the wine. I think you could taste like the spicy from the vanilla kind of came out more with the aged cheese, I think. And then the pairing of the cheese and the tomatoes kind of brought out the oaky flavor in this one.
I agree with that. And now you did not have olives. Todd and I added olives to our platter with this one. And I have to say the salt in the olives really kind of helped me notice kind of the fruit and just a little bit. You can almost pull up a little bit of acidity in the one that you didn't necessarily get without the olives, without the salt. So I mean, I thought you did a fantastic job on the tapas, and I would definitely eat that again.
Mhm.
And I know there's only a teeny bit of wedge of that cheese left, so we might have to fight over that.
I
but-
know. Well, we should have brought because cheese might be something we could
Yeah, that
eat
might
without
be
making
silent.
noise.
We'll try it, and we'll try it and see.
Because you can just let it melt in your mouth.
Absolutely. And
That cheese was good.
the cheese was excellent. I really do think that the cheese was excellent. I mean, and the olive oil softened that toasty cracker that we had.
Yeah.
Now, this time of year, you know, tomatoes aren't the best.
No.
But I can see this wine in the summer, late spring, summer, with some really fresh tomatoes. Boy, I'd really love
Well,
that.
actually, the original recipe for that tapas was strawberries and not tomatoes. So I did kind of edit it a little because you're not going to get strawberries this time of year.
Not fresh
But
ones, yeah.
also, tomatoes are grown in Spain.
Exactly,
So I
yeah.
figured it's not so far off that it's.
Yeah,
But I
don't
do
think
want to
it was-
try it with the strawberries. I think that would be good. We have to get more fancy
And
olive
I
oil.
really do wish I could say the name of the producer, this C-U-N-E. It actually is C-V-N-E if you're saying it in English. But maybe I can...
No, it's not a V. Just in old timey, they used to write U's with the V right there. Oh my
Campagna
gosh, I didn't know it
Vinicola
stood for
del
something.
Norte de Español. So, de Norte in the north of Spain, which is the Rioja region.
Yeah.
So, this is an old historic Spanish winery that makes this this wine. It was
And if you see
founded
this,
in 1879. So, I definitely want to.
yeah, if that winery sees this and wants to sponsor us,
Yeah, absolutely.
it would
Or
be
just
appreciated.
send us
Or
wine.
just
We'll drink more.
send
Any-
wine.
we drink any wine. And we
Invite us
accept
to
it.
your winery. We'll find flights on ourselves.
Absolutely.
We could take the
would.
train.
But I will say, I said what I was going to do for this new way, this new structure that we're doing the podcast in. I'm going to tell you what I notice in the wine. So I've not been formally trained. I've drank a lot of wine in my lifetime. I mean, but this is the year I turned 60. So just imagine how much wine I've had. I really work hard to smell and taste the fruits. So that's what, I'm kind of going to try to get out. Because let me tell you something. I've always been a red wine drinker. But since moving here 6 years ago, I've really learned to love some of the white wines. And believe it or not, rosé. So I'm really going to take you guys on a kind of a tasting trip from here on out. But today, what I taste is, what I smell. We've already said we smell the oak because we decanted this one. And honestly, it smells a little bit like leather to me.
Yeah, well, it's made in American barrels.
Ah,
You forgot that part.
I did forget that part.
It's aged in American barrels.
So this, you can smell a little leather. You smell and almost a little pepper, like black pepper. What I taste is definitely blackberries, cherries,
Yeah.
and
You
plums. I think I can definitely the stone fruit those stone fruits. Yeah, I definitely taste that.
You can taste the vanilla, but not in the sense that it's like a very vanilla-y flavor.
right.
It's like if you took a vanilla stick and you ate it,
Yeah.
right? Like the pure raw vanilla, like that's what it tastes like. That's what
Yeah,
that
I
vanilla
get
tastes
that.
like. Sorry, is because you can taste that a little bit.
You definitely don't smell it, I don't think. Or I don't. Here's the thing about wine, though. It's just like everything else in the world. Every single person is going to smell or taste something different because they've had different experiences with smells and tastes throughout their lifetime. And I just said, I'm turning 60 this year. I've had a lot of different experiences that a lot of people wouldn't have. So I'm going to pick up a lot of that from my own past.
Mhm.
And so I think that that's something I want to, I'm not, look, if you don't drink wine, I don't want you to say she's out here promoting, people to drink wine. And
If you don't drink wine, you shouldn't be here.
well,
If you don't drink
I don't
alcohol,
wanna tell people,
no. If you don't drink alcohol, you should. Why are you here? Like, if you're gonna
because
judge
maybe
people,
somebody likes the camaraderie. I mean,
If you're gonna judge people for drinking alcohol, when the
I'm not.
name of the podcast is Wine Together, spelled WINE, then you shouldn't be here.
I'm not judging anybody.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking
Oh.
about the people that might judge you for why are you
Okay.
drinking alcohol?
I'm just saying, I think you should give yourself an opportunity. If you drink wine, give yourself look. Don't. Here's what I can tell you that I learned from the professionals. So this part take with you as from a professional. Your first sip is not going to give you the notes that you're going to taste later. The first sip really just kind of coats your tongue and gets you ready for the good stuff. So second sip and beyond is when you'll taste it. I mean, I'm sure there are people that can smell it and taste it right away. I'm certain that there are. Because guess what? Some people have a different palate in their mouth and the olfactory senses in their nose are much more sensitive than others. That's why they probably get the jobs that they do, sniffing and tasting wine, which I don't have. But I definitely think that you should at least wait till after the second sip and beyond to see what you're tasting. And I don't know about you, Brooke, but I have to close my eyes to really get it. So like when I'm smelling it or tasting after the second sip, if I'm really trying to pick up on something, I have to close my eyes.
Oh, interesting. I don't know. I do know that I tried that tip that you guys learned about like keeping it in your mouth for a little bit before swallowing it.
Yep.
But to be fair, I do that with a lot of things. So
Yep, we did learn that.
Yeah.
You can also incorporate some air. Now this is going to sound really horrendous on a microphone, but I'm going to just tell you. They say you can don't do it. Okay,
don't do it on the microphone.
Okay.
Because
so
it's disgusting. No, just explain what you're doing.
Okay, I'm just going to explain. But I don't know how you explain it without doing it. But anyway, you can get a little wine in your mouth and then incorporate some air. So like suck in some air without spitting out the wine. It's not easy to do, but once you've kind of got it circulating in some air, it's almost, gosh, now that I think of it, it's almost like decanting it in your mouth. It's weird.
Yeah. I also don't want you to accidentally spit on all my equipment.
Yeah, I don't.
Because all of this stuff is my equipment.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And I won't do that. But you can incorporate some air and then kind of see what happens as far as your taste and your smell in it. But okay, so I've had at least 3 sips. I have not had water to cleanse my palate. So, okay, it is kind of sweet on the finish. I do feel like this one finishes sweet. So, and I'm surprised because I'm surprised to say that about a Rioja. And honestly, this being the 3rd bottle, I didn't get that. I definitely didn't get that while we were eating with it. But it was a great meal that you prepared with this. I thought it was fantastic. I would definitely do that again. But yeah, just having experienced the bottles, I'm definitely. I feel like the finish is strong. I still, it's been, 20 seconds since I swallowed. I still feel the wine on my tongue.
Okay.
It does have a very long finish. So I don't know. I don't know if people like that. I know sometimes red wine with a long finish kind of makes your tongue feel thick and dry. This one doesn't. So
I think it's good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we like the wine. We like the Rioja. And I know I don't say that nearly as beautifully as the Spanish people do, and I apologize.
We got to start learning Spanish.
My goodness, Chris, I'm working on a few languages, so, yeah.
Well, Spanish
is not one of the ones I was working on.
Well, I used to know a really good amount of Spanish because I used to help Rin study, and I probably could have passed that Spanish test easily.
Maybe.
And like, oh my God, I used to be able to hold conversations in Spanish.
I never could. And I was a long-term sub in a Spanish class. So, that's kind of bizarre. But, it's so funny. The kids were so fantastic. The students were so fantastic. They knew I was learning right along with them, and they helped. Especially some of the students that came from Spanish-speaking households. They were so wonderful to me. And, I don't know if you're listening, Maria, but I'm thinking of you. I think you know what I'm talking about. She was just so fantastic.
You know what's so crazy about like Rollsville Middle School was that they only had one language course, and there were a lot of like very unappealing electives to take there. So I feel like there were a lot of Spanish speaking kids that took Spanish because they had no other choice to take other electives, really.
A lot of them were encouraged to take it. And this is a terrible, it's a shame. They were encouraged to take it because they could easily pass it.
Yeah, it's an easy
And
pass.
I think that you're really not giving these students a chance when you encourage something like that. But you know what? That's just my personal opinion, and I'm not getting into that because that just goes a little too political for me. But anyway, this one, the food that we had it with, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a cheese person. So when Brooke was preparing a tapas, I was like, I don't know.
I know.
I'm going to like this.
I was going to say earlier that when I said the cheese is really good, I am not an objective person to say that because I love cheese.
And your dad loves cheese. I don't know if cheese loves them.
Cheese is fine for me, not for Dad. For me, it's nothing.
But I didn't grow up experiencing exotic tastes. I grew up, mashed potatoes was on the table every night, and something else. So it was, my palate did not mature. And it's my palate is still maturing because, I'm just now starting to experience different things. So I'm surprised to hear me say I like the cheese. The only thing I didn't, it's not that I disliked, because I didn't dislike anything about the cheese. But it did, and I don't know if it was with the wine, but I felt like it was somewhat soft. It was like semi-hard. So it wasn't hard like a parm, which I love a good nutty Parmesan cheese. It wasn't hard like a parm, but it wasn't soft like cheddar. It certainly wasn't soft like some of like a brie or something like that. It was a semi-hard cheese, and so you felt it when it got to the point, like if it remained in your mouth for a few seconds, like if you didn't just like chew and swallow, which I tend to let things just remain in my mouth because I want to experience every flavor. I felt it start to disintegrate, which was a weird texture, but I thought, it's just because I'm keeping it in there and I'm trying to taste all of it. So I know that was part of that was me trying to get every bit of flavor out of it, but it did kind of like fall apart. In a way that I wasn't expecting. Yeah. But especially when I added the wine to it.
Yeah. I know. I'm not sure you would like the cheese without anything on it, but I think you probably liked it because it had a lot of stuff on it.
Absolutely. I did add black pepper to my tomatoes. So I did the tomatoes, and I had the salt already with the olives, so I didn't have to add any salt, which is great for my blood pressure that I did not have to add salt.
I didn't think about adding salt to it.
The salt would have been good on the tomatoes because it really would have brought out some flavor. But and honestly, I think a little bit of salt on that cheese would have been nice. I like a little salt on my mozzarella. So I think that with a semi-hard cheese, you could still kind of get away with that. But like I said, I just added black pepper, had the salt from the olives. I thought it was an excellent meal. And, of course, I love the wine.
Yeah.
So what are we up for? What do you think? I mean, I know you want to wait and decide on your food when we decide on the wine.
Yeah.
But, are you thinking you might cook a big meal? What are you thinking?
I mean, I would like to cook a big meal because, like I made, what would be good? I made that chicken parmesan the other day. Like that, I like, and I'm cooking today, and I don't know if I'm cooking tomorrow or if you're cooking tomorrow, but
I don't
like
know.
we have stuff planned.
I think I'm going to be more a tutor the next couple of days. I will help roll out the dough today because I know that's not easy. But I think I'm going to be more on the side just giving tips.
Yeah, which is nice.
Something you need to.
I need you to be nice about it and not like the other day when I came back with the mozzarella, instead of saying, oh, I'm not, like what you wanted to say, which was, oh, I'm not sure it's gonna melt correctly. You did end up saying that, but the first thing that came out of your mouth was, that's so lazy of you.
Well, I mean,
and you saw how much work I was doing. It took me an hour to make the chicken parmesan.
I guess I always think, look, you know how I cook.
Yeah,
I do everything
yeah,
from scratch.
and you
I
don't have
grate
to.
every cheese.
And
You're right. I don't have to.
I
But to
talked to
me,
Em
it's
about
better.
this because I was really upset. So I texted Em and Rin, and I was like, I was so upset by what you said. And Em was like, it's okay. You don't have to, like, if the mozzarella cheese was already cut up, you don't have to cut it up yourself. Like, you didn't have to get the block. It's okay that you got the little mozzarella balls, right? Because I was so upset by what you said to me.
Well, I'm sorry. It's not.
I don't
really
want
did
you to
not.
make those comments when I cook.
Okay. All right.
It's because you don't like giving up control of what's going on.
It's hard for me, and honestly, I want you to learn it so well. I want you to do it so well, and this is a hard thing for me, like going to restaurants. And I don't want to say, I'm afraid of saying too much because it's going to sound so egotistical. I'm a very good cook. And you can look at our bodies all and say, well, somebody cooks. And, we exercise. I mean, I ran a 5K today before we got on here. And it shows that how I cook. So I want everyone to be that kind of cook, to enjoy it the way I do. Because when I'm preparing a lot, yes, I'm stressed and, but I have learned how to kind of get it all together and end at once. Like I can throw together a meal for people. And I apologize for my spam calls.
You have to double click the power button.
Oh, well, And so I think that's what, when I'm teaching my kids, I want my kids to get that enjoyment of doing everything from the scratch.
Yeah, and there is that. But when there's a lot going on and it's just going to mess up more because we don't have a big kitchen.
No, we do not.
There was not going to be space for me to cut up that mozzarella because I didn't have to cut anything else up.
Okay, I understand that. But, of course I'm not going to see it that way because I do the mozzarella.
Yeah, and you don't have to. Like what I told you, you don't have to.
I just don't like the extra ingredients in shredded cheeses. Sorry.
It wasn't shredded.
Oh, the balls. Yeah, well, my thing about the little balls is as cute as they are, they don't melt well.
It melted fine.
It did melt good.
I knew it was going to be fine because the oven, it still had to cook the remaining, like the chicken.
Yeah.
Right? So I knew the mozzarella was going to be fine. Because if it has to cook chicken, it's going to melt the mozzarella. It was at 230 Celsius. I was like, no, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was delicious. Okay. I would say. So I'm trying to think what would be a good one with chicken parm. Of course, I'm going with my Chianti Classico.
Yeah, but I'm going to have to look up. I don't actually know. Maybe it goes with something different that I want to cook. I really do enjoy cooking. So, yeah.
You got to learn your salt. I've got her a pinch bowl now so
that
she doesn't pour
okay,
from the
that was because I thought I had to put salt on every separate ingredient, and I really didn't have to.
No, just the chicken parm one. Yeah. But yeah, so and these are the things that you learn as you do. Yeah. These are just things. It just does not. You just have to learn to taste it as you go. And
although with the green curry, it was so spicy, I barely noticed. It was
so spicy, and I will say that finish with the green curry. It was because your dad had it the day after. So when he got home last night, that's what he said. Yeah. He said, it didn't taste salty to me, but boy, was it spicy. And I said, well, yeah. I said, but now, with me trying to watch my salt, if it's a little salt, I taste it.
Yeah.
Like those olives. I used to love to eat olives, but I would say last night, those olives were very salty. And I thought, I never noticed that before.
Every time we get olives, I try them knowing I don't like olives, thinking I'm going to like them this time, and I never do.
Yeah.
I never do.
I love olives. I will say.
And it's not even the saltiness. Like, that's part of it. But there's just something about the taste that's just not...
I love earthy tasting foods. I love my mushrooms.
See, I do too, but I just didn't like the olives.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe it's a texture thing with the olives.
I don't know, because I like other things that are that texture. Grapes are a pretty similar texture. Tomatoes cut up are similar texture, and I like those. Something about the taste.
Well, I'm going to have one more sip with you guys. I hope that you guys can find a good Rioja. I know you were able to find one in the U.S.
Yeah, it's the one that you can also get here, so... we've had it before on the podcast. But we'll probably have it again sometime, and I'll make
Absolutely.
some other Spanish dish. I kind of want to make something with lamb.
Oh, I can see that.
I feel like
That's quite
fancy. I
that's a
want to make
fancy
those
project.
lamb
Yeah.
kebabs that I
Oh
saw.
my goodness gracious.
I
They
wanna
look
try
so good.
that.
They did look
Oh
good.
my god.
But maybe that's better for summer so we can be outside on the grill.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I have to learn how to use the grill too, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Mhm.
guess so. Maybe. Oh well. You've got quite a few lessons ahead of you, Brooke.
Mhm.
Cooking.
I mean, I'm good at cooking. I don't have too much like to learn on.
I will
like,
say,
cooking.
I think anybody could be good at cooking. If
Yeah.
I'm good at cooking, anybody could be
Okay,
good at
yeah,
cooking.
but I know that
It
I'm
just
good at
takes
cooking.
practice.
Yeah.
Practice, practice,
Yeah.
practice.
I know, but that means you have to let me cook
True.
more. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I wouldn't mind if you cleaned up behind yourself.
I usually do. I try to clean up as much as I can while I'm cooking. Sometimes it's hard because you have to do everything all at once, but sometimes when you're cooking, I usually like clean up after myself. You just don't notice the times that I do clean up after myself. You only notice the times when I don't.
Well, I will say, I
also-
worked hard to clean up the other night.
Also, a lot of stuff, like I don't like putting stuff in the sink if it's still hot. I want it to cool down before I put it in the sink, right? But then by the time I go back, you've already done that. And then you get mad at me for not cleaning up after myself, even if I say to you, I'm gonna get it later. I don't want to put it in the sink when it's
I don't
hot.
want later to be more than an hour later. I guess
It's
is my
not
issue.
usually.
And so, that's always my thing.
Okay.
Is if it's more than an hour later, then I feel like, oh well, so nobody's gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And like you said, our kitchen is so tiny.
It is really tiny.
And so, if you go over there for a snack, you
Mhm.
kind of having to move stuff.
Mhm.
It's kind of annoying.
And you can really only have one person in there at a time.
It's pretty tough. I'm not kidding. So,
Yeah.
but it's okay. Unfortunately, we're gonna both be in there in just a few minutes because we gotta go roll out some pizza dough. But we kind of hope you've enjoyed this new format. We'll get better at it. We promise.
Yep. I don't even know how I'm gonna end the episode. We'll
I don't
have
either.
another bottle of wine and probably another dish next week.
Yeah, we'll definitely let you know what we've tried next week.
Yeah.
And
And that's all I got.
that's okay. We're gonna figure it all out.
Yeah.
We promise. We'll start ending it a little more proper and
Probably.
But we'll definitely see you next week.
Yes.
Enjoy. Salut. No, salut. Salut.
Salut.